I ended up on Wall Street ultimately, and I had a great career, right? Get promoted, get paid, have the financial success, leading teams, but I felt so lost.
That prosperity does not necessarily mean financial. It could be health, it could be relationships, it could be family. But I'm choosing prosperous thoughts. I'm choosing prosperity over scarcity.
I actually have a method I call my RIR method, and it's recognize, interrupt, reframe. The universe had been knocking for so long, like you're meant to do more, you're meant to do more, you're meant to do more. And I wasn't listening.
And how did you then go about growing your business and become this global brand that you are now?
It comes from the inside. I mean, I like beautiful things, but I don't buy those things because they make me whole. The wholeness comes from inside. And I realized that is actually how I can make impact. I hadn't connected the dots of this financial and Wall Street experience.
Welcome. This is Gull, your money mindset expert. And today I'm so excited. We have the beautiful, the amazing, the wonderful Ruchi Pinniger. Welcome, Ruchi.
Thank you so much, Gull. It's so good to be here with you and your listeners. I'm so excited.
Always excited to have you, my dear. Ruchi, everyone's heard your intro. They know how amazing you are, but please, in your own words, tell everybody what it is that you do.
Amazing. Okay. So yes, after 20 years being in the corporate world, mostly on Wall Street, I left to start this beautiful business, watch her prosper. And now I have the gift of helping women to organize their finances and to really improve their money mindset by redefining their financial prosperity.
Oh, amazing. I love that. So talk us through your journey, Ruchi. How did it start for you and where do you come from? Just talk us through, what led you to becoming this, financial expert and who helps. Do you specialize just with women or do you help people in general?
People in general, mostly women. That really wasn't on purpose, but really who was navigating towards myself and attracted to me in the business. So we help women, but we help everyone. And actually, a lot of our male clients are the husbands of our female clients. When the women are like, we're so done with you not having your finances in order, you need to hire Watch Her Prosper. So that's a fun thing.
So talk us through, how did it all start for you?
Yeah, so I'll rewind a little bit. Let's see, I'm going to start in high school, actually, because it's very relevant. And we could go probably as far back as earlier than that. But in high school, I really remember thinking about what do I really want to do? And I was so lost. And my family, I had lost my parents very early. So I have immigrant parents. We were here, and my mom passed away when I was 15, and I had lost my dad earlier. So I moved in with my amazing aunt and uncle, and I was talking to them about what do I want to do with my life. And they recommended, why don't you go into business? Because your mom did so well in business. And I had wanted to be a therapist, but I decided I'm going to go the business route and give it a try. So I did that. I ended up on Wall Street ultimately, and I had a great career, right? Get promoted, get paid, have the financial success, leading teams, but I felt so lost. And for many years, actually, I felt lost and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I even took a sabbatical for 3 months and I thought, let me figure out what I'm meant to do. I worked in nonprofit to help out. I took cake decorating classes, floral decorating, and I went right back into my job. So stayed there for a long time. And ultimately, I left my company when it was the right time, and I hired a coach because I still had no idea what I wanted to do with my life after 20 years. And one of the biggest gifts was hiring her, because what she said to me was what changed everything. She said, when I was telling her how lost I was and how I wanted to know what's next, because I'm sort of that recovering control type, she said, just pause and listen to the messages from the universe and see what you hear. And that's exactly what I did. And I heard all of these amazing women who started businesses, who said all the stories. I don't know how to do this. I'm not good at the numbers. I need help. Or they just avoided their money. And that was what did it. And actually, one of those amazing women was a good friend of mine. And I said to her, well, I have all this time and I have this experience. So why don't we just start digging into what's going on for you with your money? And that's what we did. And after 3 months, she started to feel like she fell in love with her business again, like she had a handle on her finances. We knew what was coming in and out. She could make more informed decisions. She raised her rates for the first time in years. And then she started telling everyone about me.
Mm.
And one of the women she told was someone who said, I need a Ruchi in my life. So I met her and we had this beautiful consult. And remember, I had not done anything in terms of entrepreneurial work, and I wasn't even charging my friend. I was just helping her. So this was like my first time really thinking, is this real? And this woman said to me, I feel like an angel sent you. And she got tears in her eyes. And I realized that is actually how I can make impact. I hadn't connected the dots of this financial and Wall Street experience with helping people. And now thinking back, I wanted to be a therapist. And now so many of our clients call me a financial therapist.
Yes, you are definitely are. Definitely are. I want to go back a bit, and I think, so did you leave your job first and work out what you want to do afterwards? Is that it?
That's exactly what I did. So in fact, what I did internally in my job is I realized now I was too scared to leave because I know now about neuroscience and fear. And I know that I was in my comfort zone, being in a big firm, knowing all the people. My mind wasn't allowing me to leave. And I was listening to my mind. I was letting my mind lead and I was not leaving. And so I even stayed internally at my company and I tried going into HR thinking maybe I'll have that satisfaction of being able to help people like I really want to being in HR. And actually, it was really not a good situation. I would be sitting in my desk crying every day. It was a horrible situation. And I didn't have a lot of support. That's a whole nother podcast. And I ended up going back into my old area, back into asset management and taking on a temp role. And then when that temp role ended, I left because there was nothing more. I had given my old role away. So that's why I was almost like, I think it's like the universe knocks, the universe had been knocking for so long, like you're meant to do more, you're meant to do more, you're meant to do more. And I wasn't listening. And this was the universe saying like, enough already, get out. And that's when I hired the coach.
So, which is really interesting because a lot of time people know they want to come out of the corporate jobs and they want to do something else, but they don't let go of the corporate security. They keep that on. And I actually recommend that's something that I say that it's a lot easier in finances if you have a regular, so-called regular income while you're building up your side hustle to the level where it becomes your primary income. But you did it the other way around. You got rid of the job somehow rather than logically, but something like unconsciously, you managed to get rid of the job and put yourself in a situation where you were able to move on to something else. So in essence, what I'm hearing is you created a vacuum which allowed the universe to fill it with your life purpose role. But until that vacuum was full of your old job and the old security, things didn't shift for you. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Somebody said to me once, it's like you manifested, being sort of, I don't know if you call it a layoff, but you manifested a layoff.
Yeah.
Right.
In order to be able to find your life purpose, which is great.
It's amazing. And that's why there's nothing negative that happens. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I truly do believe that nothing in the world, doesn't matter how horrible it may be at the time, how devastating, how painful the experience may be, it's always for your benefit. It's always happening for you rather than rather than against you. So for that reason, everything actually plays a part in making you who you are. And and this is what Bob Proctor used to say, may he rest in peace, that there's two sides to every coin. The as negative and as horrible and as painful as it appears, it has equal amount of benefit on the opposite side. You just have to be able to see it from the other side, which sometimes comes later because you're too busy dealing with the pain at the time when the event's occurring. So let's go back to your ability. So you hired a coach. Did you have finances to be able to manage it? Did your partner support you? What happened when you had no job?
Well, I do have the benefit of having two incomes in my home, and I had saved a lot, and I had gotten some money from the work when I left. You know, I had on vested stock and all of that stuff. So I got a nice payout, I have to say. So that was a real benefit. And I know that not everyone has that. So I
Yeah.
do realize like how blessed I was and had the support of my husband. For a while, he got tired of it. And when he finally got tired of me, like kind of not working and waffling around is when I really was like, okay, I need to get my act in gear and I need to do something. And I really just, that's when I really got serious and really started to listen to the universe and those messages.
Yeah, at times we really have to be uncomfortable to be able to get to the next level because the jump that you need to make is not done in the comfort zone. It is done outside your comfort zone and the learning that required it for as well. I just want to hold off for a second for all day. How comfortable were you relying on your partner financially when you've been financially independent all your life? How was that experience?
I was actually okay with it. I'm not going to lie because I
Mhm.
contributed quite a bit as well. And there were times where I was, making more when we first got married and I wasn't super, concerned. It didn't, for me, I knew that I could do that for myself.
Mm,
I just realized that the time was a gift and I
mm.
saw it just as a gift.
And that's really important because you had the confidence in yourself. So even though you let go of the job, the self-respect and the self-confidence remained, and that allowed you to receive from the divine masculine. In all honesty, I'm old school. If you are married, your husband doesn't matter how much money you're able to or not able to make, your husband should be able to provide for you. That's my thinking. I could be wrong, and people could hold a gun to me, but I really,
Mhm.
I come from the old school of thinking that divine masculine should really provide and protect the divine feminine. So,
Yeah.
as a feminine, you should not have issues with with your husband paying for you. But anyway, another story for another day. Let's move on. So then, how did you said after your friend introduced you to people and referred you because she had such amazing results with you? How did you then go about growing your business and become this global brand that you are now?
Right. So it was really very organic. So I took on this first client and then I started talking about the work. I also built the confidence because when I started, I didn't really know what I was building,
Hmm.
right? I didn't know that it would become what it did today. And I didn't know how many people we'd be impacting. I didn't even know it was for women because when I started, we weren't, I rebranded later to Watch Her Prosper. So it really was super organic, which is what I love. And that was one of the beautiful things for me, in terms of not having that financial pressure. I was able to really build it in a way that felt good. And literally, it was all referral. One person would refer another, would refer another, would refer another, would refer another, would refer another. And it got to the point where I can't do this myself anymore. And I realized like that was when I had to hire someone. And then it's sort of an evolution, right? So then I hired someone. And then let's say like a year later, someone said to me, how do I refer you? Are you taking new clients? And I said, oh my goodness, I'm so tired now. I'm so burnt out. And I had just only hit the six figure mark. So imagine, and I mean, just over it at that time. And I was already burnt out. So that's when I also started to look at how am I charging? What am I doing? Is this making sense? Is this sustainable? Because if
Mm.
I'm burnt out at, whatever it was 100 something K, then this isn't really
Yeah,
something's not working. And that's when I started to really even look at what I was offering and how I was offering it in packaging in a different and more profitable way.
wonderful. And so, talk me through. Who did you learn about financial? Because we don't talk about money in schools at all. So, did financial literacy, did that come with the job and the training, or was it self-taught and from an early age?
That's such a good question. And this is so important is, the financial literacy piece. And I'm so passionate about it. We actually didn't talk a lot about money in my household, although my mom sort of came to this country, reinvented herself. She was an educator overseas. She came here, she became a teller at a bank and worked her way up to being an executive. So she was a great role model in terms of success and financial success. However, we did have a lot of ups and downs financially because I remember the habits she had. I remember how different she was when she was stressed about money. I didn't connect the dots at the time, but I did later. Like she would be more lenient with us when she was making more or maybe wasn't stressed about money. And I remember even, um, wanting those, I'm an 80s girl, so wanting those DoorDash jeans and we didn't have the money to get those. Like we waited a couple years until they were, out of style. And that was one of the things that actually started me working around this beautiful work around redefining prosperity and seeing prosperity not just about money, because my mom, did everything she could for us. But I do remember seeing all those designer things and all of my colleagues, or I should say classmates and friends at the time. And I always thought that when they have all those beautiful things, then that means that they're happy. Like to me, it looked like they had a perfect life from the outside. So when I went onto Wall Street and started to make money, I remember I bought myself this Prada bag and I was like, oh, I finally made it. Now my life is going to be amazing. And I remember like, nothing changed. I went into debt. I had that momentary sort of fleeting feeling of satisfaction from having the thing, but nothing changed. My life didn't change. And that was actually when I realized, okay, prosperity, it comes from the inside. There's nothing. I mean, I like beautiful things. Love a good Prada bag, love a good Gucci bag, but I don't buy those things because they make me whole. The wholeness comes from inside. So that's why I love the work with redefining prosperity.
I love that. I really do believe that you need to be serious and become serious about money early on in your life, because a certain amount of money is absolutely essential to be able to have a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and in this day and age, transportation as well. I suppose if you're in London, you don't need it. It's outside London,
Right.
You need transportation too. Yeah, exactly. You need
Yeah.
you need transportation, but it doesn't. So a certain amount of money is important for your happiness, but thereafter, it's not. And I've learned this, and I'm so glad I can talk about it because I've been through hell and back in various parts of my life. There are times when I am going through hell and back, and I still smile, and I think and people around me like, but are you okay? I'm like, I'm actually really good. I'm good. I'm good. And they're like, how? I'm like, because I choose to be happy. I'm choosing prosperity. I don't see it. It's fine. I mean, that prosperity does not necessarily mean financial. It could be health. It could be relationships. It could be family. It could be any form of prosperity, to be honest. But I'm choosing prosperous thoughts. I'm choosing prosperity over scarcity. So maybe temporarily at the moment, my life is, has all these issues in it, but I'm choosing to be happy. And therefore, I know this too shall pass and I will get to the other side. And that's what you're talking about, which is fine. You're going to have your ups and downs. Everybody is. Doesn't matter where you are, who you are. But you chose to be happy and you chose to look at your life in a different way. And now you're helping women, especially, to look at their life and see it practically. But they can work on their prosperity, financial prosperity, that is, while choosing to be happy. Am I understanding this correctly? Is that what you're doing?
100%. Like you gave me chills because it's like we're speaking the same language. I mean, we get to choose our thoughts. Okay. Everyone out there, you in the muck, you saying, oh, this is so hard. I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much to do. There's never enough time. There's never enough money. There's never enough time. All of it. So you get to choose. You get to choose. So you have, I mean, there's different research on this, but my understanding is that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. Now imagine most of those are negative thoughts and you get to choose to reframe those. I actually have a method I call my RIR method, and it's recognize, interrupt, reframe. So I want you all to recognize when you're having a negative, disempowering thought. I want you to interrupt it. Breathe, pause, do what you need to do. And then I want you to reframe it with a more prosperous, positive thought. So, there's never enough time. I'm so overwhelmed. Catch yourself. And then, there's always time to do everything I want. I am time. And start to pay attention to what you're thinking. And remember, the universe is a mirror. So if you're, just like Gull was saying, if you're thinking negative, if you're thinking, I'm not happy, I'm not prosperous, that's what you're getting back. So why don't you put out what you want and get it?
100%, 100%. And on that note, we're going to wrap this up. Tell us, Ruchi, where can we find you on the internet? How can we connect with you?
Yeah, so you can go to Instagram at Watch Her Prosper. So at Watch Her Prosper. And we're on there and posting really fun, sort of practical, tactical tips, spiritual tips, mindset tips. So stay there with us. You can go to my website, watchherprosper.com, join our newsletter. You can also go to iwanttoprosper.com and you can download my free Redefining Prosperity workbook if you want to learn a little more about that.
Wonderful. Now, if you guys are listening to us on the podcast, then the links that Ruchi has just mentioned will be in the show notes. And if you're watching on the YouTube, then down below in the description section, we'll have the links for her too. Go check her out and see how she can help you. Thank you so much for today, Ruchi. We have to have you back for Money Talkies, but today has been a fabulous conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely being here with you and your listeners.
Thank you. And thank you for listening to me and Ruchi today. I will be back with another amazing guest, finding out how they changed their life by changing their mindset. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull signing off. Take care and bye for now.